I came home right from work. This is kind of an important video for novices. How do you figure out how deep it is where you are without going in the water? Maybe you're looking out at the body of water and you're casting, but you have no idea how deep it is. It's going to be a little harder to tell how deep it is when you cast it straight out, but I can help you with that in this video. I'll tell you how to figure out the depth if you're in a kayak from shore. It's pretty much all you need to know. When else do you need to figure out the depth? The best way to explain this: you have a fishing rod. You need it to go fishing. This is for a rod and reel. Bait casting, spinning, spin casting, doesn't matter. What you're going to do is you are going to use your lure. You're going to drop it down. You're going to count it down. So you're going to need something that's heavy enough where you can feel it under pressure while it's falling, bent over because of the weight. So that's what you're looking for. Now you might be saying, how do I count that down? Each lure is going to have a different rate of fall, ROF. And how do you figure out the rate of fall? I'm going to tell you about it right now. We'll circle back around. So rate of fall, how are you going to figure this out with a lure? Let's say you don't know the rate of fall of the lure because maybe your friend gave it to you, maybe you have no idea what the weight is. Regardless, irregardless, whatever, forget about all that. This is how you're going to figure it out. One thing's for sure, you have your rod and hopefully it says how long it is. So for instance, this is 2 foot 6 inch rod. So from tip to tail or tip to butt, that is 2.5 feet is right there. So if I pull my lure right to the bottom of that, now I know this is 2.5 feet, this is 2.5 feet. So if this is going to be easier to describe from a boat, realistically. You could put a bobber right here, but that would totally negate everything that we're trying to figure out. So if you're in a boat or it's deep right here, and you don't know how deep it is in front of you, 2.5 feet, you put the lure in the water and immediately put your tip to the surface of the water. And that's immediately start counting down. I mean, this is, you put it on the surface of the water and you immediately put it down right here. As soon as you start moving it, you start counting. So get ready and you go, let's get that on the surface of the water. Let's see if I can get in the shot. And then as soon as you start moving, you go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and you're counting down. And then when it gets tight like that again, when the line's tight, that's how long it took to get to 2.5 feet if your rod is 2.5 feet. Now, if you have a 7-foot rod, you're going to pull out 7 feet of line and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to drop it down and you count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, some lures will fall faster than others, so that's why you're counting down. You're seeing how long it would take to get 7 feet, just to say. So now if you know it takes 7 seconds to get 7 feet, just for an example, you count down. A second is a foot, or it could increase. You know, maybe it goes down 2 feet in a second. So then you're gonna have to do a little bit of division to figure out how fast it falls or how deep the body of water is. If you can find a lure that falls about a foot a second, it's gonna be easier to count down. You don't have to do that. Just whatever lure you have, you're gonna count down, figure it out. So we figured out rate of fall of the lure. Now we know how we can find the depth where we are. If you know the rate of fall, we're going to circle back to shore anglers. So now if you know your rate of fall, maybe you just went and found a deep hole and counted down your lure to know what the rate of fall was. Okay, now I know how fast it falls. You can always test it in a pool if you have access. Make sure it's cool with the pool owner first. You find out the rate of fall. Now you go out to cast. You're on shore, you're casting out in the water. You have no idea how deep it is, but you know the rate of fall of your lure. Cast it out. As soon as the lure hits the water, your bail is open. Leave it open. Count it down. It's sinking, it's sinking, it's sinking. As soon as it stops pulling line, then it's slack. The bail can still be open. It's on the bottom. So you're counting until you see that slack bow line. You'll see that bow, and then you just kind of reel it back up, because then you will know how deep it is. So then you can fish your lure at different water depths. So if you have a swimming lure that goes under the water, say like a swim jig, streamline jig, the trailer would be like a paddle tail or maybe a craw. You know the rate of fall of it. You toss it out. You know how deep it is where you're casting. Now you can count down, say it's 12 feet. So you count 12 seconds. You're going to count to 10 seconds and start swimming that. So now you're 2 feet off the bottom. You can start your retrieve earlier if you want it higher in the water column. I hope that makes sense. You can wait longer. It gets down more in the middle. Wait even longer. It hits the bottom. Or you can wait just before that. So let's just say it's 15 feet. You wait to 13 feet. Start swimming it there. So that's how you would figure out, one, the rate of fall, depth. And somehow I circled into how to fish different columns of the body of water you're at by counting down the rate of fall. I don't know if this made any sense. I'm gonna have to watch this and make sure it did. Anyway, I hope this helped. I'll catch you next time.